Hello students, very good afternoon. Myself Muniraj Naidu, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So in this video, we are going to discuss about error detection and correction in computer networks. So we know the data link layer, which is the intermediate layer in between physical layer and network layer. So the data link layer transmits data in the form of the frames. So we know these frames are transmitted by using various communication channels. So automatically errors must be detected. So we need to correct those errors. So that deals about the error correction and detection. So let's start with the overview. Introduction about error detection and correction, types of errors, error control, basically done either error detection or error correction. So error detection we have three methods: parity check, checksum and CRC, cyclic redundancy check. And then in case of error correction, important concept is Hamming codes. See, we know networks must be able to transfer data from one node to the another node with complete accuracy. So that means whatever the data the source node transmit, that particular information is successfully reached to the destination machine. But whatever the data the sender node transmits, that particular data can be corrupted during transmission, because depends upon the application. You may use either connection oriented or connectionless systems. So whatever the communication channel we are using, that particular communication channel may be collapsed or malfunctioning. Something happens to that particular communication channel. So for reliable communication, errors must be detected as well as the corrected. See, we have two mechanisms: error detection as well as the error correction. So these are implemented either at the data link layer or at the transport layer of the open system interconnection model. Now coming to the errors. What are the various types of errors? Right? So we have single bit error, multiple bit error and burst errors. What is the difference between these single bit, multiple bit and burst error? See, simply say that a single bit errors are nothing but whenever the received frame, in any received frame, only one bit has been corrupted. Only one bit has been corrupted. So that is either changed from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. That is a single bit error. Only one bit has been corrupted. See, these single bit errors are the least likely type of errors which occurs in serial data transmission. Single bit errors are the least likely type of errors in serial data transmission, because the noise must have very short duration, which is very rare. So this kind of errors can happen in parallel transmission. See this example here. This is the frame which is at the sender side. So we can call as this is the frame sent, right? 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. So 5 zeros followed by 0 1 0. Whereas the received frame 4 zeros 1 0 1 0. So what happens here in the fifth position? This is 0, but this is 1. So in the received frame, only one bit has been corrupted. Only one bit has been corrupted. So here the 0 which is changed to the 1. So that is a single bit error. Let us take one example here. If data is sent at 1 Mbps, then each and every bit lasts only 1 by 10 lakh seconds or 1 microseconds. Similarly, for a single bit error to occur, the noise must have a duration of 1 microseconds, which is very rare, right? So remember this particular point, single bit errors, or in the received frame only one bit is corrupted. One bit has been corrupted. That is either changed from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Next one, multiple bits errors. Multiple bits errors. See here, there is a slight difference between single bit and multiple bits. You know, single bit means only one bit has been corrupted. Whereas in case of multiple bits, more than one bit are corrupted. See, this is the frame sent. Here 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 0. This is the frame sent from the sender side. So the receiver side, the received frame is 1 0 1 1 0 1 1. See what happens? Exactly true. Exactly true. So this is false. This is true. And this is false, right? So like this, here more than one bits are corrupted. That is a multiple bits error. More than one bits are corrupted. Then third one, burst error. Burst error. You know the term burst means 2 or more bits in the data unit have changed from 1 to 0 or from 0 to 1. Burst. So see here, burst errors doesn't necessarily mean that errors occurs in consecutive bits. Consecutive bits. So burst errors doesn't necessarily mean that errors occurs in the consecutive bits. But the length of the burst is measured from the first computed bit to the last corrupted bit. The length of the burst is measured from the first corrupted bit to the last corrupted bit. See, let us take this example. This is the frame at the sender side, that is the sent frame. This is the received frame. See, the first 3 bits 0 1 0 0 1 0 exactly. But what happens here, according to the sender frame, 00 1 00. But whereas at the receiver side, opposite 1 1 0 1 1. So the burst error means that 2 or more bits in the data unit have changed from 1 to 0. 2 or more bits. 1 2 3 4 5 bits. In this example, 5 bits. Right? So that specifies that burst error. So that means in the received frame, more than one consecutive bits are corrupted. See, in case of multiple bits, there are no consecutive bits are corrupted. But in case of burst error, in the received frame, more than one consecutive bits are corrupted. So this burst errors is most likely to happen in serial transmission. Serial transmission, because in case of serial transmission, the duration of noise is normally longer than the duration of a bit. Duration of noise is longer than the duration of bit. So whatever the number of bits affected, that depends upon the data rate and duration of noise. The number of bits affected, in this example, 5 bits are affected, right? So the number of bits affected depends on the data rate and duration of noise. So this is the best example for burst error. See, this is another example. This is the sent frame, received frame. So more than one consecutive bits are corrupted. More than one consecutive bits are corrupted. See, 0, 1, 1. Here, 1, 0, 0. Right? So this specifies the burst error. Then important one is error control. Error control. So we know in case of data link layer, error control can be done in two ways, either error detection or error correction. Error detection or error correction. So what is the difference between error detection and correction? You know the difference between detection and correction. See, in case of computer networks, error detection, which involves checking whether any error has occurred or not. We need to detect whether any error is there or not. If error is there, then we need to solve that particular error. So the number of error bits and the type of error doesn't matter here. Right? Whether the error may be occurred with a, we can call as a single bit or multiple bit or burst error. Right? So the number of error bits and the type of error doesn't matter here. Right? Error detection, which involves checking whether any error has occurred or not. Whereas coming to the next one, that is error correction. This error correction involves ascertaining the exact number of bits that has been corrupted and the location of those corrupted bits. Right? So what happens once you detect any particular error is there, then we need to correct that particular error. Is it right? So error correction involves ascertaining the exact number of bits that has been corrupted. How many bits? In our previous example, only 5 bits are corrupted. Right? So similarly, we need to find out the location of those corrupted bits. That specifies the error correction. For both error detection and error correction, the sender needs to send some additional bits along with the data bits. So those are generally we can call as a header and trailer. Right? So to identify these errors and to detect those errors, the sender needs to send some additional bits along with the data bits. See, this is your data bits. So here I need to send some additional bits. The receiver performs necessary checks based upon the additional redundant bits. If it finds that the data is free from errors, then automatically it removes those redundant bits before passing the message to the upper layers. So just like your original data may be followed by both header as well as the trailer. Right? So what happens whenever any frame received by the receiver, then the receiver performs necessary checks based upon the additional redundant bits. If it finds that data is free from errors, then automatically it removes those redundant bits before passing that message to the upper layer. What is the upper layer? Data link layer. To the next one, that is the network layer. Right? So coming to the first mechanism, that is error detection. So we know error detection means to decide whether the received data is correct or not. Right? Without having a copy of the original message. We need to find out the detect. So that is error detection means to decide whether the received data is correct or not without having a copy of the original message. So this mechanism, that is error detection, uses the concept of redundancy. That is very important. Error detection uses the concept of redundancy. What does that mean? Adding extra bits for detecting errors at the destination. That is the basic concept of error detection. Error detection uses redundancy, which means that adding extra bits for detecting errors at the destination side. So there are 3 main techniques for detecting errors in frames. Why here we talk about the frames? Because here the data may be passed with the help of the data link layer. So automatically the data link layer passes data in the form of the frames. So there are 3 main techniques for detecting errors. One is PC, parity check. Second one, CS, checksum. Third one, CRC, cyclic redundancy check. three methods or three techniques for detecting errors in the frames happens only with either parity check, checksum, or cyclic redundancy check. What does that mean? Parity check. We know all the three methods, either parity check, checksum, CRC, follows redundancy. So we know what is meant by redundancy. So the parity check is done by adding an extra bit which is called as a parity bit to the data. The parity check is done by adding an extra bit which is called as a parity bit to the data to make a number of ones either in case of even parity or odd in case of odd parity. So what is the difference? We will discuss. See, while creating any frame, the sender counts the number of ones in it. See, let us say 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. While creating the frame, the sender counts the number of ones in it. Here, 2 ones and 3 zeros. Once the frame is created, then the sender counts the number of ones in it and adds the parity bit in the following way. What is that way? For example, in case of even parity, if a number of ones is even, here in this example, 2 means even. If a number of ones is even, then parity bit value is 0. That is parity bit. If the number of ones is add, then the parity bit is 1. Simple logic. See, in case of odd parity, if a number of ones is odd, then parity bit is 0. If a number of ones is even, then parity bit value is 1. So, there is a difference between even parity and odd parity. Once receiving that particular frame, the receiver counts the number of ones in it. For example, if the same frame I need to transmit, so what happens here? Totally 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So only 2 ones. On receiving that particular frame, the receiver counts the number of ones in it. In case of even parity check, if the count of ones is even, then the frame is accepted. If not, it is rejected. So the same rule is adopted for odd parity check also. Hence, this methodology, that is a parity check, is suitable for single bit error detection only. Parity check is suitable for single bit error detection only, because here we need to find out only single bit, whether that particular single bit may be either 1 or 0, right? That may be parity bit, may be either even parity or odd parity. So parity check means which is done by adding an extra bit, which is called as a parity bit, right? So whenever any frame is created, then the sender counts the number of ones in that particular frame and adds the parity bit. How we can add? In case of even parity, if number of ones is even, then parity bit value is 0. If the number of ones is odd, then the parity bit value is 1. So simple. Even parity means off, on. Off means 0, on means 1. In case of odd parity, reverse. If the number of ones is odd, then parity bit value is 0. If a number of ones is even, then parity bit value is 1. So this methodology, that is the technique, parity check mechanism, which is suitable for single bit error detection only. What is the next one? Checksum. Checksum. Okay. So in case of checksum, initially whatever the data we are ready to transmit, that particular data is divided into the fixed size of frames, which are generally called as a segments. Frames or segments. So this is the one of the error detection scheme. Here, initially the data is divided into the number of frames or segments. Then the sender adds the segments using 1's complement arithmetic to get the sum. The sender adds, this is very important because here we need to concentrate on the sender as well as the receiver. See, the sender adds the segments using 1's complement arithmetic to get the sum. So this is my overall data. Now initially the data is divided into the fixed size of segments or frames. Fixed size means, for example, this will hold only 4 bits. So each and every frame is fixed. So here the sender adds the segments using 1's complement arithmetic to get the sum, and then it complements the sum to get the checksum and sends it along with the data frames. Similarly, at the receiver side, the receiver adds the incoming segments along with the checksum using 1's complement arithmetic to get the sum and then complements. Both, if the resultant is 0, then the received frames are accepted, because initially at the sender side, whatever the segments, those segments are adding using the 1's complement arithmetic. Right. Similarly, at the receiver side, receiver adds the incoming segments along with the checksum using 1's complement arithmetic. So if the resultant is 0, then the received frames are quietly acceptable. Otherwise, they are discarded because some of the frames may be damaged. Right? See, let us take this example. Here, this is the sender side, this is the receiver side. Whatever the data we are transmitting, that particular data is initially divided into the fixed size of frames. For understanding purpose, here we can call as a sections or segments. See, section 1 n bits, section 2 n bits, section 3 and so on up to the section k n bits. So we have some complemented. So sum, complement, n bits. Right? At the receiver side, if all those sections are added and finally all ones, then accept, otherwise reject. Because at the sender side, whatever the data unit that is divided into the fixed size frames or segments or sections. So those are called as a K sections. Each and every section is n bits. So let us take our previous example. In that previous example, we have 3 frames. Each and every frame is divided into the fixed size, that is the 4 bits. Similarly here, the unit is divided into the K sections, each of which having n bits. Now, all sections are added together using 1's complement. Using 1's complement to get the sum. Now, the sum is complemented and becomes the checksum. So, whatever the checksum now you are getting, that particular checksum is sent with the data. The checksum is sent with the data. See in this example, here this is the checksum. That particular checksum is sent with the data. So that particular checksum is also received at the receiver side. Right? At the receiver side, the unit is divided into the same K sections, each of which n bits. All sections are added together using 1's complement to get the sum. But the sum is complemented. Simply say that if the result is 0, then the data are accepted, because the receiver node receives whatever the frames transmitted at the sender side. If anything is mismatched, then automatically they are rejected. Right? So according to the performance metric, the checksum detects all errors which involves an odd number of bits. Checksum detects all errors involving an odd number of bits, and then it detects errors which involves an even number of bits. So both The checksum is one of the mechanism for error detection when compared to the previous technique, that is the parity check. The checksum detects all errors which involves either an odd number of bits or an even number of bits. If one or more number of bits of a segment are damaged, then the corresponding bits or the corresponding sequence of bits of opposite value in a second segments are also damaged. Because right, see here, these are the frames, right? So frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 I need to transmit. But what happens here, if any one, for example 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 0 something, what happens whenever we need to add these frames, then automatically after performing the ones complement also, here there are some changes occurs. Is it right? So based upon that particular one, here if one or more bits of a segments are damaged and the corresponding bits or sequence of bits of opposite value in the second segment are also damaged, because the sums of those columns will not change and the receiver will not detect a problem. So that is according to the performance metric, right? Then coming to the next mechanism, that is the CRC, cyclic redundancy check. Cyclic redundancy check, right? So according to the performance metric, this cyclic redundancy check is having more performance when compared to the previous two techniques like parity bit as well as the checksum. See, the cyclic redundancy check which involves binary division of data bits. Binary division of data bits being sent by a predetermined divisor. Predetermined divisor agreed upon by the communication system. Communicating system. So here the divisor is generated using polynomials. Polynomials, polynomials, right? X power 4 plus x. X plus 1, something. So cyclic redundancy check which involves binary division of the data bits being sent by a predetermined divisor agreed upon by the communicating system. So the divisor is generated using the polynomials. For example, in this CRC, the sender performs binary division of the data segment by the divisor. Then it appends the remainder, we can call it as a CRC, cyclic redundancy check bits, to the end of the data segment. So whenever the sender performs some binary division, then it appends the remainder which is called as a CRC bits to the end of the data segments. So what happens automatically? The resulting data, whatever the resulting data after the CRC, that is exactly divisible by the divisor. Similarly, at the receiver side, the receiver divides the incoming data unit by the divisor. If there is no remainder, then the data unit is assumed to be correct and it is accepted. If remainder is there, that means if anything happens, then it is understood that the data is corrupted and is therefore the particular data is rejected. So cyclic redundancy check, we have 4 types of redundancy checks. Particularly in data communications, we used either of these 4 types of redundancy checks. What are those 4 types? Detection methods like VRC, vertical, longitudinal redundancy check and cyclic redundancy check, checksum. So already we discussed about this checksum, right? So these are the 4 types of redundancy checks in particularly in data communications, right? VRC, LRC, CRC, checksum, right? So basically this is a redundancy. So whatever the data we are going to transmit, that particular data is acts as an input to the generating function. Then based upon that particular generating function, here this is the redundancy check at the sender side. Now we need to combine the CRC with the data. So this is the data, original data. So this is the redundancy check. Right? So that particular data and redundancy check transmitted in the form of the frames to the receiver. Then again here the checking function performs that particular data as well as the redundancy check, and it may be either accepted or rejected, depends upon the type of frames the receiver node receives. So VRC, that is the first technique. This is the first technique, that is a vertical redundancy check. Vertical redundancy check. See, this particular vertical redundancy check can detect the burst errors only if the total number of errors are odd. Similarly, it can detect a single bit error also. See, let us take this example. This is the data 11000001. Right? So we have even parity generator, then vertical redundancy check, that is the sender side 1. See what happens? The 1 is added or in front of to the original data. See here 111000001. So now the vertical redundancy checking function checks that is total number of ones are even or not. So that describes the vertical redundancy check. So similarly, we have LRC, longitudinal redundancy check. Longitudinal redundancy check. See, this is the original content. Here the longitudinal redundancy check increases the likelihood of detecting burst errors. Detecting burst errors. So we know what is meant by burst errors, right? More than 2 consecutive ones or zeros are detected, then we can call as a burst errors. If 2 bits in one data unit are damaged and 2 bits in exactly the same position in another data unit are also damaged, then the longitudinal redundancy checker will not detect an error. Right? See here, this is example 10101010. So this is the longitudinal redundancy check. Right? So this is the direction of movement. This is the original content. So this longitudinal redundancy check increases the likelihood of detecting burst errors if the 2 bits in one data units are damaged. Right? Any 2 bits or 2 bits in exactly the same positions in another data units are also damaged, then this particular LRC will not detect an error. Now we need to combine both these vertical redundancy check and longitudinal redundancy check. See how this happens. So these are the vertical redundancy checks and this is the longitudinal redundancy check. So each and every unit we need to transmit. See 1 1 0 1 1. Right? Whereas in case of LRC 0 1 1 1 1. So we need to combine both vertical as well as the longitudinal redundancy checks. So this is very important. CRC, cyclic redundancy check. Cyclic redundancy check. So you know the basic concept of cyclic redundancy check, right? So here given a k-bit frame or message. So whatever the message, my node is ready to transmit that particular message. Now the transmitter generates an n-bit sequence which is called as a FCS, frame check sequence. Right? Let us take one example. My node or my computer is ready to transmit one particular information to some other node which is available on different network. So whatever the data I am ready to transmit, that particular data is divided into the k-bit frames or messages. Now the transmitter generates an n-bit sequence. So you know each and every frame consists of some number of bits. That is known as a frame check sequence. So that the resulting frame consisting of automatically k plus n. K plus n, because here each and every frame is numbered as frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 and so on. Right? Up to the k frames. So k plus each and every frame is having the n bits. So k plus n bits which is exactly divisible by some predetermined number. Then the receiver then divides the incoming frame by the same number, whatever the predetermined number you are having. So with the same number, the receiver can also divide the incoming frame by the same number. If there is no reminder, then assumes that there was no errors. If any reminder is there, then automatically something happens, right? So this is the cyclic redundancy check, CRC. See, from this example, this is the sender side. Whatever the original frames I am ready to transmit, those we can call as a data, which are divided into the k bit frames. K bit frames, each and every frame is having the n bits of information. See, data n bits, divisor automatically n plus 1 bits. If there is no reminder, then CRC, cyclic redundancy check, with n bits, right? So CRC combined with the data. At the receiver side, data as well as the CRC, now the divisor, reminder. If the reminder is 0, acceptable. Non-zero means something is happened or something is fishy, then automatically we can call as a rejected. So that is the cyclic redundancy check. Next one, error correction techniques. Error correction techniques. So we know the previous one, error detection. So how we need to detect the errors? Either parity check or checksum or CRC, cyclic redundancy check. Whereas in case of error correction, these error correction techniques find out the exact number of bits that have been corrupted as well as what is the location of those corrupted bits. So basically these error correction techniques are having two principles. One is forward error correction, second one is backward error correction. So generally that particular backward error correction is also called as a retransmission. Retransmission. What does that mean, retransmission? For example, if the receiver detects an error in the incoming frame, then automatically it requests or it informs to the sender to retransmit the same frame. Because whatever the frame received by the receiver node, that particular frame is having error. Right? It is a relatively simple technique, but it can be efficiently used only when retransmitting is not expensive, as in fiber optics, and the time for retransmission is low, which is relative to the requirements of the application. Right? So for we can call as a for reference purpose, this retransmission technique is simple. But according to the application point of view, there are number of parameters you need to consider, right? How that particular data frame are transmitted, what is the source node, what is destination node, how much bandwidth they are using, right? How many number of intermediate hops are there? There are number of metrics you need to consider for retransmission, right? So next one is the forward error correction. If the receiver node detects some error in the incoming frame, then it executes error correcting code. Error correcting code, which generates the actual frame. So simply say that we need to correct that particular error, right? Which bits are not correct, right? What is the location of that particular bits? We need to identify. Then we need to correct those errors. So this saves the bandwidth which is required for retransmission. See, we know bandwidth is one of the important metric for retransmission. It is inevitable in real-time systems. However, if there are too many errors, what happens? Then the frames need to be retransmitted. There is no solution because only one error, only one bit position is changed. Then without retransmission, we need to easily find out that particular error and we need to easily correct that particular error. So it can be handled in two ways, right? So error correction can be handled with the help of the any two ways. One is receiver can have the sender retransmit the entire data unit. Otherwise, the receiver can use an error correcting code which automatically corrects certain errors, right? Either of the two ways, receiver can have the sender, then automatically retransmit the entire data unit, or else the receiver can use an error correcting codes which automatically correct certain errors. What are those errors? Or we can call as a error correction techniques, right? So first one is a single bit error correction. Second one is a Hamming code. Single bit error correction. So we know error correction, right? So whenever errors are there, then we need to correct those errors. You know what I mean by error correction, right? So some bits are changing. We need to find out those bits and we need to correct those bits. So to correct an error, the receiver reverses the value of the altered bit. For that, we must know which bit is in error, definitely. So number of redundancy bits are required. Let us take simple example consideration. Let data bits be small m, redundancy bits small r, then the total message m plus r. You know, the original data bit and redundancy bit. Finally, we need to send that particular information with the redundancy bit as well as the original data. So total message sent m plus r bits. So the value of that particular redundancy bits, the value of r must satisfy some relation. What is that particular relation? 2 power r is greater than or equal to m plus r plus 1. Right. So 2 power redundancy bits is greater than or equal to data bits, total number of data bits plus redundancy bits plus 1. See, this is the total bits, total message sent m plus r bits. You know, these are the data bits and these are the redundancy bits. Redundancy bits. Right? So data m bits, redundancy r bits. So there is a single bit error correction. Then second one is Hamming code. We know Hamming code is a block code which is capable of detecting up to 2 simultaneous bit errors and correcting single bit errors. That is very important because this is developed by R.W. Hamming for error correction purpose. So Hamming code is a block code which is capable of detecting up to 2 simultaneous bit errors and correcting single bit errors. So in this particular mechanism, the source node which encodes the message by inserting a redundant bits with the message. So whatever the original message, for that particular message, here the source node encodes the redundant bits. Encodes the redundant bits within that particular message. Now what happens? These redundant bits are extra bits which are generated and inserted at specific positions in the message itself. For what? To enable error detection as well as the correction. Very important. So Hamming code, that is we can call as a block of code which is capable of detecting 2 or more simultaneous bits errors and correcting the single bit errors. So what happens in this particular mechanism? The source node encodes the message by inserting redundant bits within that particular message. So these redundant bits are extra bits which are generated and inserted at specific positions in the message itself to enable both error detection as well as error correction. Whenever the destination node receives that particular message, then it performs a recalculations to detect errors and find the bit position that has an error. Right? So what is the purpose of this particular Hamming code? Hamming code may be either for single error correction or double error correction, that depends upon the application. So Hamming code may be either for single error correction, another one is double error correction technique. So this, whatever the procedure for single error correction while using this Hamming code, which includes 2 parts. One is encoding and then decoding. So encoding at the sender side, right? Then decoding at the receiver side. So how it will happens? See here, encoding a message by Hamming code. Encoding a message by Hamming code. So what is the procedure used by the sender to encode the message, which broadly classified into the 3 steps. Step 1 is calculation of number of redundant bits. Calculation of number of redundant bits. Step 2 is positioning the redundant bits. So we know that is the basic concept of error correction, right? So where we need to find out that particular bits and what is the location of that particular bits. Step 3, calculating the values of each and every redundant bit. So once all the 3 steps are consecutively executed, then once the redundant bits are embedded within that particular message, then it is sent to that particular destination. So this is encoding a message by Hamming code, which is having 3 steps. One is calculating the number of redundant bits. Second one, positioning the redundant bits. Third one, calculating the values of each and every redundant bits. See, this is the step 1. Let us complete fastly. Step 1, calculation of number of redundant bits. See, whatever the message we are ready to transmit, that particular message which contains m number of data bits, right? So similarly, r number of redundant bits which are added to that particular original data, so that which is able to indicate at least m plus r plus 1 different states. You know, here this m plus r, which indicates the location of an error in each and every bit position, and one additional, that is plus 1 additional state indicates no error, right? So r bits can indicate 2 power r states. You know the basic formula. So 2 power r must be at least equal to this one, m plus r plus 1. So 2 power r is greater than or equal to m plus r plus 1. Is it right? So let us take m equals to 7. The data bits are 7, and the minimum value of r which satisfies that particular polynomial equation, that is the 4. So 2 power 4 is greater than or equal to m is 7 plus 4 plus 1. So the total m plus r 7 plus 4, that equals to 11. So this is referred as 11,4 code. That is the step 1, calculation of number of redundant bits. Step 2, positioning the redundant bits where that particular 11,4, right? So the r redundant bits placed at bit positions of power of 2. So you know power of 2 is 2 power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 power 4, right? So 2, 4, 8, 16, etc. So they are referred in the rest of this particular concept as R1, as R1. See, R1 at position 1 and R2 at position 2 and so on, right? So if m equals to 7, then comes to the 4. The position of redundant bits like this: 1, R1, R2, and then D, R3, R4, right? See, 2, 4, 8, 16. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 8, 16. So position of the redundant bits, step 2. Now step 3 is calculating the values of each and every redundant bit. Now here we have 2 types of parity bits. We know the redundant bits are parity bits. Is it right? Redundant bits are parity bits. So what happens by our basic concept? A parity bit is an extra bit that makes the number of ones either even or odd. Parity bit, that is an extra bit which makes the number of ones either even or odd. So there are 2 types of parity bits. One is even parity, second one is odd parity. What does that mean? Even parity, the total number of bits in the message is made even. Odd parity means the total number of bits in the message is made odd. So each and every redundant bit like R1, R2, R3 and so on, which is calculated as the parity bit, generally even parity based upon its bit position, it covers all bit positions whose binary representations include 1 in the ith position except of Ri. So R1 ante enti, R2 ante enti, R3 ante enti. R1 is the parity bit for all data bits in positions whose binary representation includes 1 in the LSB, least significant position, which excludes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 and so on. Whereas similarly, if R2 is the parity bit for all the data bits in positions whose binary representation, which includes a 1 in the position 2, because this is the R2. So that is from right except 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11 and so on. Similarly, R3 is the parity bit for all the data bits in positions whose binary representation includes 1 in position 3 from right except 4. Except 4. So like this, we need to calculate the values of each and every redundant bit, either even parity or odd parity. Right. So let us take simple example. Suppose that particular message, that is 11000101. That is my data, my node ready to transmit this particular message. So that particular data in the form of the frames needs to be encoded using even parity Hamming code. So let us take example m equal to 7 and r equals to 4. Right. So just you go through this on how we need to calculate this particular example. Right. So automatically here 11001011 11001011, that may be here the message will be sent like this, because based upon this particular values. So 2 power r is greater than or equal to r m plus r plus 1. Right. Then second part, that is the decoding a message in the Hamming code. Decoding a message in Hamming code. So once the receiver gets an incoming message, this is the frame at the sender side. So this is the frame at the receiver side. Right. So whatever the frame which are transmitted through some network, so that particular frame is transmitted to this receiver side. Once the receiver gets an incoming message, it performs the recalculations to detect errors, if any errors are there, and we need to correct them. Right. What are the various steps for recalculation? Here, in case of receiver side, we can call it as a decoding a message in Hamming code consisting of 4 steps. Whereas in case of encoding a message in Hamming code, which consists of the 3 steps. What are those 4 steps whenever we need to perform decoding a message in Hamming code? First one is calculation of number of redundant bits. Second one, positioning the redundant bits. Third one, parity checking. Fourth one, error detection and correction. Calculation of number of redundant bits. Right. So we know how we need to calculate the number of redundant bits. See, using the same formula as in encoding, the number of redundant bits are 2 power r is greater than or equal to m plus r plus 1. M is the number of data bits and r is the number of redundant bits. Similarly, step 2, positioning the redundant bits. So the r redundant bits placed at bit positions of powers 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4 and so on. Third step, parity checking. We know parity bits are calculated based upon the data bits and the redundant bits using the same rule, like C1, C2, C3 and so forth. Thus, C1, the parity means first position 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on. Second means even 2, 3, 6, 7, 10. C3 means parity bit. So, these are the basic 3 steps. Fourth step is error detection and correction. So, whatever the decimal which is equivalent of the parity bits binary values are calculated. If it is 0, so the decimal value, if it is 0, there is no error. Otherwise, the decimal value gives the bit position which has an occur, where the actual error will occur. Where is the position in that particular frame? That specifies the error detection as well as the correction. So, this is the decoding a message in Hamming code, which consists of 4 steps. Calculation of number of redundant bits, positioning of the redundant bits, parity checking, error detection and correction. Right. So this specifies the error detection and correction. Right. So this is the example. Let's do this example. Here an incoming message is 1111011101. So what happens at very first step? The number of redundant bits are calculated using the formula 2 power r is greater than or equal to m plus r plus 1. So we need to find out the m plus r plus 1. Then the minimum value of r such that 2 power r is greater than or equal to 12. Then step 2, the redundant bits are positioned. Then step 3, even parity checking is done. See, this is the, finally we got this particular result. by using this error detection and correction, right? So in this way, the data link layer uses the both error detection as well as the error correction. So in this class, we discussed about error detection and error correction in data link layer. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.